The Metroid franchise seemed to be on life support after the lukewarm reception of Metroid Other M in 2010 and Metroid Prime Federation Force in 2016. It got a shot in the arm with the 3DS release of Metroid Samus Returns in 2017 by Nintendo and Mercury Steam. Returning to classic 2D play with new abilities, Samus Returns was a fun journey to experience. Mercury Steam was then called upon to co-develop Metroid Dread, a long-planned entry in the Metroid saga that is set after the events of Metroid Fusion. Dread had originally been conceived as a Nintendo DS game, but was scrapped due to limitations of the day. Released in 2021, Metroid Dread once again has players assuming the role of Samus Aran on one of her best 2D-style adventures yet. The Galactic Federation has received video evidence of an X-parasite located on the planet ZDR. Fearing the possible spread of the X, the Federation sends in 7 ME robots to locate and contain X specimens. Contact with the MEs is lost, and fearing the worst, the Federation calls upon Samus Aran to assess the situation. After Samus's first encounter with the X and the administration of the Metroid serum into her blood, Samus is the only person in the universe who can stand up to the X. Upon arriving on ZDR, Samus becomes involved in a plot that threatens the galaxy as a whole if she were to fail. Metroid Dread carries on the narrative style set up by Metroid Fusion. Intro cutscenes set the stage for the narrative, and briefings with Samus's shipboard AI, Adam, set up your next goal. Additional plot-related cutscenes are included that expand upon Metroid lore in significant ways. Like other Metroid titles, the environments themselves also tell a part of the story in their own way. The story as a whole is an interesting one, and it sets up several intriguing threads for the franchise to use in the future. Metroid Dread is a side-scrolling 2.5D action-adventure game with a focus on exploration. The game is broken up into several different interconnected areas, which are some of the largest in the franchise. Each area offers up unique challenges and puzzles to figure out while exploring, with several areas being gated off to players until they have the right item to open them. Exploration is a joy in Dread, as each area has a different feel and atmosphere. For anyone looking to find every tank expansion possible, the connectivity between them also makes backtracking a breeze. Several trains and elevators connect each main area, which you will use constantly to progress the story. Many teleporters are also available and are conveniently placed to help return you to an area of interest after picking up a new item. Metroid Dread sets up Samus's lost abilities in the opening of the game, and it again pleases me to have a lore reason behind starting from scratch. While many abilities return from previous Metroid titles, Dread has several original inclusions. My favorite of these is the new Spider Magnet, which takes the place of Spider Ball. This new take on the ability lets Samus climb blue walls and allows you to fire while on them. With the grapple beam, Samus can quickly latch onto these walls and then onto another just outside her jump range. It is a fun way to explore, and the grapple beam getting additional functionality is always pleasing. Sliding is another fun inclusion in Dread that makes up for Samus's lack of her traditional Morph Ball ability. You can only use the slide on terrain level with Samus, so it makes many passages a one-way trip in the early game. After recovering the Morph Ball, using the slide on longer passageways has Samus transform into the Morph Ball seamlessly, which is a cool touch and keeps the gameplay feeling streamlined. Using the slide button at any time can also act as a fast way to change into Morph Ball as the situation requires. The Morph Ball Bomb gets an interesting enhancement for this game with the Cross Bomb that can send Samus flying across breakable gaps with Bomberman-esque flair. The Power Bomb is also present to deal devastating damage to foes. Storm Missiles are a nice upgrade over past game's Seeker Missiles. While used for opening doors that require multiple points to be hit quickly, they are also essential for dealing with many of the game's bosses. They require a charge, but once done you can lock onto 5 targets and let the barrage fly. I appreciate that the streamlined approach to missiles has been continued in Dread, as the Ice and Super Missile power-ups stack, so you don't have to worry about any weird inventory selection in the heat of battle. Beams likewise stack as you progress for a nice streamlined approach. Having the Diffusion Beam return from Other M is also a ton of fun until you finally unlock the true Wave Beam. One new ability I find a bit underwhelming though is the Spin Boost. This ability gives you a double jump capability, and it isn't used for much before being replaced by the proper Space Jump ability and Screw Attack. I can only guess that the reason behind this choice was to limit players' exploration capabilities a bit longer before opening up the whole map. However, even with only an additional jump, you can use the Spin Boost to get a few upgrades early, which is fun to pull off. The Speed Booster and Shine Spark also return, offering players some excellent mobility possibilities. Like Samus Returns, Dread gives players the use of Aeon abilities. These powerful abilities have a separate usage meter that will recharge while not in use. Unlike Samus Returns, you don't have to select an ability before using it, with each having a dedicated activation button, further streamlining play. The Phantom Cloak lets Samus turn invisible with reduced movement capabilities. Using the cloak for too long will also eat into Samus's health, so you need to be careful with its prolonged use. Blast Shift is a short-range teleporting ability needed to get past certain doors. It can also be used for ground and air-based dodges against enemies to great effect. The last ability is the return of the Scan Pulse from Samus Returns, which highlights all the breakable terrain in any location. The Scan Pulse does not reveal any of the game map this time around, since Dread has dedicated map rooms. Combat is a blast from the start of the game until the end, thanks to streamlined controls and abilities. Free aim allows you to easily line up shots and store missiles on distant enemies and incoming attacks. Like Samus Returns, Dread also heavily features a melee combat and counter system. Unlike Samus Returns though, Dread has found a better balance in how counters play into the flow of the game. Samus Returns made enemies feel more bullet spongy, making waiting for counters the easiest way to bring them down, which slowed down the feel of gameplay. Dread corrects this by making enemies defeatable in a reasonable time, and if they happen to present a counter opportunity, it is a nice bonus that provides extra health and missile drops. Counters play a bigger role in boss fights to deal more damage. While it is possible to beat each without them, they can provide a nice time save and can be accompanied by an awesome sequence of Samus bringing the heat. I am torn on the bosses for Dread though. The inclusion of Kraid is amazing and the Chozo warriors are cool inclusions, but they get reused often. While I find the selection to be enjoyable overall, as you progress through the game you can see they begin relying on increased damage output over being more cunning. While I don't mind this for higher difficulties, seeing an entire energy tank disappearing to a basic attack was quite baffling. Later bosses taking 2 or more per hit on normal is certainly a choice. They obviously realized they messed up since an easy mode was added to the game post-launch. If I had been playing on hard, I wouldn't have batted an eye, but they were a bit overboard for the game's normal mode. Thankfully, even with this slightly fake difficulty at play, each fight can be overcome with simple pattern recognition, so they won't keep you stuck for long. I have up to this point failed to mention the most unique aspect of Metroid Dread, and that is dealing with the 7 Emmys that the Federation sent to ZDR. The Emmys skulk around certain areas of each area of ZDR, and you have to move through these areas frequently as the game proceeds. Emmy can hear your movement and abilities, and if they are within range, will begin to hunt you down. Once spotted, they will chase you down until you can escape their immediate sight. An aspect that makes these chases even more haunting is that when spotted, the exits to their area are sealed off, preventing your escape. The dynamic element of these chases is intense, and hearing the Emmy chirp as it wanders the area is unnerving. It's a blast. If you get caught by an Emmy, you have 2 chances to counter them to escape, or you will receive a game over. These are difficult counters to perform, but success stuns the Emmy long enough for you to escape. You will likely die many times from the Emmy zones, but Dread makes a checkpoint for you every time you enter their zones, which helps negate frustration. Making use of the Aeon abilities also helps immensely. But in each zone, you will finally get to turn the tide on each Emmy with the use of the Omega Cannon that you get from destroying a mechanical brain in each sector. With the Omega Cannon, you will get to melt an Emmy's outer plating, then finally deliver the killing blow. You still have to be aware of your surroundings during these moments because they can still kill you if you aren't quick enough. The game does a great job of introducing this mechanic, and I like that you get something from bringing these mechanical monsters down. I will admit I am torn on the game's last Emmy being killed in a cutscene though. It's a cool scene, but I wish I got to be the one to kill it. Metroid Dread has incredible audio work to accompany you for its entire runtime. Music is moody and fits well with each area. The way it changes when you enter a save room provides a nice sense of relief, while entering an Emmy zone, it heightens the sense of dread. Ambient sound further elevates the experience, with the sounds of ZDR bringing unknown danger. The chirping of Emmy and the cries of X-Parasite while under attack again add to the whole. Weapons and Samus's suit feel rooted in the world and help round out the soundscape in a satisfying way. Metroid Dread is the best looking game in the franchise. It uses high quality models with tons of animations. Backgrounds are massive and have things happening in them to further elevate the story or experience of what is currently happening in any given room. The use of film grain during Emmy rooms also helps give it an old school horror feel. The dynamic sizing of some rooms is also fun to behold and gives ZDR a larger sense of scale compared to the other games in the franchise. Water effects are excellent, and every time I see rain in this game I get more joy than I should. Being a post-fusion game, the way Samus's power armor is portrayed is also fun to see. It feels like a nice blend of original and fusion as it repairs itself from the events of fusion. I don't care for the new helmet design, but that is just a personal nitpick. Samus's various actions are well animated and smooth during play. Samus reaching up to touch the ledges before you enter a gap is also a fun extra touch. Enemies likewise are well detailed and animated. The size of some is awesome to see within the environments. Kraid and the lava pump boss in particular are highlights of this. For any new players diving into Metroid Dread for the first time, I think the biggest areas of frustration with the game will come from its EMMI zones. They require you to figure out where you need to go without being touched. If you do get touched, you will likely be starting the segment over again unless you are incredibly skilled at countering. Expect many deaths at first, and you will find the way through eventually. My only real complaint with the game is that later boss fights feel unbalanced compared to the rest of the game, given how much damage you can take from a glancing blow. Considering that the last boss of the game can't deal the same amount of damage as some earlier mid-bosses further highlights this imbalance. Again, if I had picked hard mode, I would have no issues with this odd balancing, but for normal, it just comes across as fake difficulty to cover the easy patterns of these fights. Metroid Dread has a good amount of replayability for completionists. After your first completion, you unlock the game's hard mode. Upon completing hard mode, you unlock the Dread mode, which was introduced in one of the game's free updates. Dread mode is a unique challenge in the Metroid franchise, as any hit from any enemy will kill Samus on the spot. Unlockable art is given to players for hitting certain time requirements on normal and hard modes, as well as achieving 100% item collection in each area of the game. A boss rush mode is also present for you to take on each boss in the ultimate test of strength. Metroid Dread is an absolute blast to play through and is easily one of the best Metroid games ever made. The story told is an interesting one that I hope we get a continuation for. It runs incredibly smoothly and has a fun world to explore. New abilities are a blast, and dealing with Emmy provides an awesome blend of anxiety and joy when you finally get to take them down. Boss fights are frequent and overall enjoyable, but at the end they do start to introduce some fake difficulty to feel slightly unbalanced as a result. Numerous difficulties are available to tune this experience to your preference or to put yourself to the ultimate test in Dread mode. If you have yet to try Dread for yourself, you should do so today. Thank you for making it to the end of today's review on Metroid Dread. Again, just a wonderful 2D Metroid title that is one of the best in the entire franchise, and now that I've played every single game, I very fully stand behind that statement. There's a lot of interesting story details in here that I hope get continued, because it's been so long since Fusion came out until we got a post-Fusion game. I really hope we see a post-Dread game sooner rather than later. But let me know what you all think of Metroid Dread in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And just, again, thank you for watching today's review. It means the world to me, and if you haven't already, please be sure to hit that thumbs up, thumbs down button, depending on how much you like this one, as well as that sub button and notification bell so you can see when new videos go live on the channel, as there's always more coming your way. And for anyone interested in further helping support the channel so we can keep it going well into the future, please be sure to check out that join button here on YouTube or the Patreon link in the bottom right hand corner of the screen when it pops up. Every little bit helps, and for as little as $1, you can help choose these weekly reviews that we do here on the channel, as well as just helping us out, and we're greatly appreciative of all of our backers. Thank you so much for what you do and believing in what we do. But until next time, my wonderful internet peeps, you all stay awesome, keep on gaming, and we'll see you all back next video.